We are at the movies with Matt and Ryan, and it is time for 3-in-1. And Matt is here as well.
3-in-1. That sounds a little. I'd give some context. All right, it's 3 movie reviews in one video.
Yeah, you gotta the title,
Yeah.
3-in-1.
Yeah, that's just so people don't misconstrue that into something else. So, yeah, we I don't know. We took a little. I wouldn't say vacation from doing reviews, but we haven't done one in
I did.
since Dunkirk. So what's that, like a week?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Not that long, but a decent time. So we're back today to review the newest action film, Atomic Blonde, Luc Besson's latest science fiction film, Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets, as well as the indie hit of the summer, The Big Sick, which is written by Kumail Nanjiani and his girlfriend, Emily Gordon. So we'll start with Atomic Blonde, though. We'll start with the I guess the biggest of the 3.
Yeah. Would you say? Yeah, I guess it is actually.
But it's also the most current,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd probably do better at the box office too. It probably has.
Yeah, it opened pretty decently. I don't think it's gonna hold that well, especially compared to like the John Wick movies. But yeah. So Atomic Blonde, it premiered at South by Southwest, the film festival in March. Got really solid reviews. I mean, I know it came out alongside Baby Driver at that festival, but it still garnered enough good reviews where I was able to kind of stand out. But this is Charlize Theron's kind of, I don't know, some people are calling it Jane Wick, get it, because it's a girl version of John Wick, but I can kind of see the comparison. But at the same time, this is really something different. It's more of a spy film. We follow Theron, who plays what's her fucking name? I don't even remember. Where's IMDb?
What's up?
Lorraine Burton.
Oh,
I guess. Yeah. All right. She's an MI6 agent, and she's sent to Berlin during the Cold War to investigate the murder of a fellow agent and recover a missing list of double agents.
Yeah. This movie, I don't know. I really like this movie because I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the soundtrack was good. Obviously, I realized after the movie that the director, David Leitch, I probably pronounced his name wrong.
Yeah, he did John Wick.
Yeah, he did John Wick. He helped direct the first one. So I figured that out after, and I could definitely tell, it was kind of the same, as far as style and everything. I don't like. I'm getting sick of the movies that use the interview aspect. I mean, this movie I wasn't too angry at because it made sense in some ways, but I don't know. I feel like it's just lazy. It's
using it as a framing device for the story.
Yeah, it's happened so much, especially over the past couple of years.
It is very contrived.
Yeah, I mean, but I wasn't as angry I say the Tupac movie because I thought it made sense for what it was going for, I guess. And I don't know, I thought Charlize Theron, she fit the role really well, and I thought everyone did brought their A game. James McAvoy was pretty funny, so I thought the movie was fine. I know you're a little different opinion, but
yeah, I mean the movie's gotten pretty decent reviews. Personally, I felt about this film the same as I did with Kong, where it's just I don't think it's a badly made movie. I just found it incredibly dull, and I was very unimpressed aside from a few moments. And my main issue is it gave me nothing to really be attached to, or it didn't give me anything to get excited about. Most action movies, there's a sense of thrill and tension and pace. This movie just kind of felt aimless, and I think a lot of that has to do with the script, which was pretty crappy. I mean, it's based off the graphic novel The Coldest City, but it just felt needlessly convoluted. I mean, the story itself is very predictable and trite, and you can see where it's going after 15 minutes, which makes the yarn of it really not that exciting. But it just neat like got kept getting obsessed with the details of it when it really was never that interesting
Well,
in the first
I
place.
think from the start, this movie was all about its style. I think, like, I don't think it really cared as much about the story as, like, I would even say John Wick. I mean, I think this movie definitely ran on the action scenes and everything. I will say this, Matt.
I Okay, you can to go first.
No, I was gonna say this. There's one particular scene in this movie. I wonder if you enjoyed it as much as I did. There was one where, like, obviously it wasn't in one shot, but there was like this action scene that like had the illusion that it was one shot, and like I thought that was
And
brilliantly
then
done. I
yeah, the stairwell scene.
Yeah, that was fantastic, man. I thought
Yeah,
that was really fun.
Leach has worked a long time as a stunt coordinator for movies like V for Vendetta and The Bourne Ultimatum, and he's also directing the new Deadpool movie. And I'm impressed by his ability to record action. I love the way the camera moves so swiftly from cover to cover position. It definitely brings a certain level of energy to the scenes. The choreography in general is really great, and the fights feel really brutal. Like, everyone's like by the end of them, they're all tired and woozy, and they're just kind of swinging at each other without much,
Yeah.
purpose. Like that was kind of cool to see, and I also liked the slight driving scene, the way just Leach's camera movements are very stylish and fun, but they still are able to capture the action in a very competent and straightforward way. So I think he's definitely shows a lot of promise as an action director.
Yeah.
I just think what makes this not another John Wick is I think John Wick is a movie that has such purpose. The first 15 minutes, you get all the story and character you need to really care about the movie and care and be invested, and which ratchets it up the tension for the rest of the movie. You don't get these like super detailed things about John Wick. You get just the gist, but that's all you really need in an action movie like this. Here, you really don't give a crap about Charlize Theron's character. She kind of feels a bit elusive, not very interesting. I know Theron is a generally great actor, but I just feel like the role, aside from the action standpoint of it, didn't really give her much to do. And I would say the same with the rest of the cast. I mean, James McAvoy is just kind of there. It was definitely one of his more underwhelming performances. And I think the supporting cast in general also really doesn't have much to do. The movie definitely is an exercise in style. I mean,
Yeah.
you have you can definitely tell the John Wick, the kind of neon blue, purple, and I do think it made a sincere effort to try to capture a sense of place in Berlin, this kind of weird town. You got a lot of '80s music, which I mean, it's good tracks, but it was a little heavy-handed at points. I love a good action movie. There's nothing that I enjoy more than even a dumb one like Triple X. Like, nothing makes me more entertained. So when I see a movie like this and just nothing about it is able to engage me, it's a real bummer, because I love just enjoying some good fun action, in the theater.
What do you think about the editing? Because I thought there was a lot of I don't know, random transitions, and I thought it was fine, but I wonder how you feel about all the editing, because it seems like there's a lot done.
It didn't really bother me. I mean, I think Leach's style at times is definitely a little aggressive, and needlessly so. I mean, sometimes it has a good flow. Other times it just feels like he's throwing stuff at the screen too much, and it doesn't really work with as much flow. But I think most of this movie's problem is with the story, and it is just. It really, and I think it also takes itself way too seriously. Like John Wick, the thing I really love about the first John Wick is it creates this interesting universe where there's a lot of, humor and interesting aspects, and it really kind of, in a lot of ways, lampoons the cliches of action movies. And I don't mean to compare this to John Wick at all, but that's just the example I'm using. This movie, it just felt like it was always taking its story and its characters more seriously than it needed to, and it just lessened the enjoyment for me. I never really was having a fun time watching the movie.
I was fine with the story, because I never go into action movies thinking the story's gonna be that amazing, But here's my problem. The big problem I had with the movie was I think it forgot like the end. Like they didn't know how to end the movie. It was just a lot. It was very directionless in that sense, in my opinion. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but there was a lot of things that they were trying to do as far as twists go, and it really just fell apart at the end.
You bring up the point about action movies not having a lot of story. That's fine, but most movies, like even like Triple X this year, they really put the story on the back burner. Like they don't. This movie, I think, is very focused on creating a yarn of intrigue for the audience to follow. It's just that yarn isn't very interesting. I do think there was a lot of focus. There is way more focus on story than there ever was character in the movie. So I don't agree with that. I think the movie did try to create a compelling story. I just think it failed pretty.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm saying. Well, yeah, I know. It wasn't like. It was. I was more like angry with how it ended, because it was like, I don't know. Like I'm not as pissed at the story as you are. I thought the story was fine. I think it's a good risk. I think it's like a fine risk, because you say like, action movies, they don't focus so much on the story. They put it on the back burner. I think it's a good risk to take to like try to bring it to the forefront.
Yeah, but this is so contrived. Like this is the most contrived, uninteresting story you could have possibly told. It's something that's not only been done before so many times and so many times better, but there's not even like an interesting twist to it. There's not an interesting angle. It just everything about it felt so lazy, and it just the way kind of the pieces come together felt very lazily put together and convoluted. I just think it took itself the story way too seriously. It didn't need to.
I don't think it was lazy as much as it was like all over the place, like kind of scattered. Like I don't think it knew where it was going.
I don't know. I've seen you could see where the movie was going after 10 minutes. They don't even try to like hide the fact. Like it just left all of its cards out on the table, and it's like, oh, but maybe this, and it was like, no. Like they try to throw in some red herrings, and it was kind of dumb. I just found this movie so dull. Like I felt the same as I did with Kong. I was just watching it, and I couldn't give less of a fuck. Like it just. There's some interesting style stuff. Okay, Charlize Theron's fine in the movie. The action at points is impressive. It just gave me nothing to be attached to. I felt very cold and distant watching the movie. It just nothing drew me in.
I think the action. Oh, geez, my voice is echoing.
Is it echoing still?
Oh, I think it's because is your volume up?
No.
Oh. 1 second. All right.
Well,
all right, that's better.
All right, it's better.
Yeah, I mean, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the story. I don't know. I think the action scenes really made up for it. I love the action scenes of this movie. I think this movie had a lot of swagger. I like the soundtrack. I like the overall style. I had a lot of fun. I wasn't that angry walking out of the theater. I was like, oh, this was a good time,
I don't know. I just feel like I can't. The action was fine, but in a 2-hour movie, there's probably like 15 minutes of total action. Like, to be fair, it's not like a movie that has relentless action set pieces. There's like, you got a few small ones in the beginning, you got a kind of big one in the middle, and then you have a pretty small one at the end. Like, you need other stuff to carry that hour and 45 minutes. And there was really nothing interesting. I can't give a movie a good review for 15 minutes of, well done filmmaking. Like, that's just silly.
Yeah.
Pretty speechless on that one.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think this. I don't know. I just had more fun in this movie. I don't think that I know they focused a lot on the story, but I don't see as many movies as you, Matt. So I can't say that I've seen this story many other times before. This exact story.
It's so predictable. It's so boring.
It was a better Bridge of Spies. It was a spy movie, but it had action, and I loved that.
That was dumb. Yeah, I just don't know. Like, it was. I wasn't like super. I didn't have like that high of expectations either. Like going into the film, it's not like I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the next John Wick. Like I was like pretty passive going into it, and I just nothing this movie did really. I mean, a few things impressed me, but nothing ever drew me in and got me, that invested. And it's a movie I'm probably gonna forget in like 2 days. So,
Yeah.
that's my thoughts.
All right. Should we get into ratings?
What's up?
Should we get into ratings?
Yeah, might as well.
All right. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I had a lot of fun. I hated the ending though.
I just didn't care by the end of it. I give it a 5, and that's mostly Theron does a good job, and the direction at points was impressive. But I don't know. Maybe better luck next time, guys.
Wow.
My thing is this movie really had no personality, and compared to our next movie, Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets, it's crap, and it's time to review Valerian.
Did you say crap or craft?
Crap.
Okay.
Our next movie, by my subtle transition, is Valerian. Written and directed by French tour songs.
Matt.
What?
One second. Your voice is like really weird right now.
Oh my god, maybe it's a crap internet.
I don't know.
Is it still weird?
Yeah. You sound like a robot right now.
Oh my god.
Oh, now we're back. We're back.
Whatever. Jesus shit.
That was weird.
Alright. So, Bassan is mostly known for his very good track record in the 90s. He did Leon the Professional, La Femme Nikita, and most notably The Fifth Element, which is definitely a love it or hate it kind of movie. I'm a fan of it. It's a lot like Valerian, not to get into it, but recently he hasn't really made anything that interesting, which is why it surprised me just how much I enjoyed Valerian. And I know the reviews are kind of mixed on it as well, but this is a fun, just wild, inventive, original, and super creative science fiction movie. Like it really is.
Yeah, it tastefully uses the CGI.
Yeah, Luc Besson, something he's always been good at is building worlds, and he really makes a world that is interesting and quirky. And I really like the way he fills in the details with these little smaller, subplots. I feel like this movie is at its best is when it's taking detours from the story. We have, little small arcs with Ethan Hawke or Rihanna or these, random tourists on a planet. Like it's just Bassan really, his sense of humor is I get very subjective, but I enjoy it. Like I enjoy the weirdness of it, and it makes the world being built here all that more interesting and lived in to me personally.
I don't know. I don't want to sound dumb here, but was there also a little bit of a take care of the earth type subplot or theme?
Well, I mean, the movie definitely has. It definitely spells out its thematic ideals very obviously. That's not what I was referring to.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get into that later. But Bassan, anyone who sees this movie has to give him a round of applause for just not only how he made this film outside of the typical Hollywood system, and he got it financed by pre-selling it to foreign markets, like being a very just crafty, smart filmmaker, but just making a film that's absolutely fucking gorgeous, and from a filmmaking perspective, very impressive. Just some of the shots he does. There's a kind of a one take shot of Valerian kind of running through.
That was cool.
This build that's worth the price of admission alone. It's so.
It's like a video game.
Well-crafted and energetic and fun. It's the perfect kind of summer movie sequence that you want to see in movies, and it's thanks to the crap artists at Marvel, the kind of thing we don't see. We don't see filmmakers really exploring unique ways to bring a scene to life on the big screen.
Besides James Cameron.
I said thanks to crap.
Yeah,
Marvel.
I know. But
Marvel, not to rant on Marvel, but they've neutered every director's style who they've worked with.
it's almost like the story like didn't matter in this movie. Like I didn't really care about the story, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Like
the story is definitely trite. I mean, this is the difference between this and Atomic Blonde. Like, okay, the story isn't great, but it knows to kind of put that on the back burner and focus on what's good about the movie, which is its wild charm, its energetic originality, and just its beautiful look. Like I think the movie it definitely isn't flawless by any means.
Yeah,
it's definitely way too long. I mean, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Just a little bit of overkill. We could have cut some stuff out. It's messy, but it's messy in kind of the best possible way. It's really a filmmaker executing his vision to the fullest. So that is pretty exciting, even through the good qualities and the bad.
I mean, the script wasn't that great. There were some lines where I was shaking my head, but it is what it is, you know. Specifically the Rihanna cameo.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. I thought Rihanna was kind of fun.
It was fine until they had to be like, "You're the greatest artist." I was like, "Come on, come on."
I think the acting in this movie in general is decent. I don't think Dane DeHaan was like the perfect actor to play this part. He doesn't always really sell kind of the cocksure, charming,
the douche,
smuggler type very well, but he grows into the part, and I think Cara Delevingne is definitely the standout.
The ladies, man.
I thought her character was just funny, and what's up?
The ladies, man.
Yeah, Delevingne was just great in this movie, and just a ball of fun, and I really think she has the future to be a great actress, because she just stands out in every scene she's in here. And I in general like it. I mean, there's, like you said, there's a couple corny lines, but in general, they're fun to watch, and that does make up for some of the laggier points in the movie.
Yeah. No, I mean, it wasn't that much of a distraction. I mean, if anything, I was just like laughing. I was like, all right, a nice Rihanna plug-in, but like, I mean, overall, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I think it was I think it's story-wise, it's not going to be memorable, but definitely visually it will be. Like, I'll remember this film for where the strengths were.
I think this definitely has cult classic potential in the future. This movie just, because it creates such an obtuse and weird universe that you can kind of just get lost in, and that is a real skill that I feel like a lot of directors struggle with, is creating. You have some interesting story elements, but you can't quite really flesh out the universe. I think this movie really does that in spades, which is very impressive.
Yeah, it didn't do well at the box office. Do you think? I know it's because it was, you told me some of the factors, but do you think like also because Dunkirk got released the same weekend that it didn't do too well?
That's definitely a huge factor. I just think, in general, I think the movie was too weird to ever really do well, and everything now was about being based on big properties or having a big name behind your movie. And this movie really had neither. I mean, Luc Besson, you could put the visionary behind The Fifth Element, but that's not selling tickets. No one really gives a shit about that now. Like, and I'm just being frank. Like, I'm, Luc Besson, you're a good guy, a good director, but that's not really a selling point, for a movie.
Yeah.
And both Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne are, like, I mean, they've been in some well-known movies, but they're not, like, box office draws yet.
Box office broads.
Yeah, like, draw people into the movie. Like, that's the term for it.
Oh. Yeah, I've heard of Cara Delevingne. I never heard of Dane DeHaan before this. I'm not going to lie.
What's that?
I never heard of Dan DeHaan before this movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Been in a lot of movies. He was in Chronicle, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, was he?
Beyond the Pines.
Oh.
Yeah, he's in all those movies.
Oh. Never mind. I guess I have seen movies where he's been in.
Yeah, he's been in a lot. I mean, he's a pretty talented actor. I feel like he's a little miscasted here, but I've generally liked his performances.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was a very earnest, charming, and entertaining movie. Do you want to get into ratings?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.5
What do
out
you
of
give
10.
it? All right, yeah, I give it the same. That's where I'm at.
All right.
I think that it is definitely too long, and the story issues are very noticeable. There's certain aspects of the movie that are definitely clumsy, but I can't deny I had a really good time with it, and probably one of the better movies of the summer.
Yeah, I agree.
But to be honest, the best movie of the
Oh.
summer is The Big Sick.
Oh yeah.
Our final movie we're talking about today, written, as I mentioned before, by Kumail Nanjiani and his girlfriend Emily Gordon. This Sundance rom-com follows their true story of dating and being in a relationship, which suddenly is tested when one is put in a coma and the other has to kind of try to be there, as well as dealing with the culture clash of Nanjine's Muslim background and Emily's kind of more traditional American background.
Yeah, man, it's great to make a movie about. I mean, it really helps when the movie's about yourself. But I mean, it was a fantastic movie. Is this Kumail's first movie on the big screen or first role on the big screen? It must be, right?
No, he's been a supporting player in a lot of comedies. Yeah, he was in Mike and Dave Needs Wedding Dates last year.
No.
He's been in some other movies too. I mean, it's his first
big
starring role. I mean, technically. But he's been in a lot. He's been a role player in a lot of movies. He was in Central Intelligence last year. He was in Fist Fight. Yeah. So he's been in stuff.
I love how this movie just interconnects so many different themes, and it's just really cohesive. The theme of being a Muslim American, the theme of you got the relationship and love and all that. Everything just comes together really well in this movie. And life just happens. It's another one of those movies where you can relate in some ways, I guess, if you're because there's just so many different themes in this movie, and I don't know, they just gel really nicely together.
This movie is very honest and sincere, and I think we really haven't seen a lot of rom-coms recently. The marketplace has kind of dried up, and I think this is the type of movie that does the rom-com so well. It's just so, like I said, sincere, and there's so much human elements, like you mentioned. The culture clash never for a moment feels contrived or uninteresting. It's coming from a place of understanding and genuine, appreciation. From Nanjiani and Gordon, they write. I mean, their work as scribes is fantastic. The movie not only is you connect to, but it's also very funny.
It is
definitely, probably the funniest movie of the year so far. Just the effortless dialogue and chemistry between these actors, and just the kind of it morphs into different movies. It starts as a rom-com, and then it becomes this interesting family drama, and then it just keeps changing, and it does so in a very naturalistic way. Director Michael Showalter, who did last year's Hello, My Name is Doris, I feel like has, his direction isn't flashy, but he has an eye for genuine character moments and knowing how to play those moments on the big screen. Nothing ever feels overdone or over dramatic. You don't have that swelling music or anything like that. He just lets things kind of breathe, and I feel like for this material that is the perfect fit.
I think this is a movie that we really needed, because I think Kumail really doesn't take himself seriously or anything around seriously, and I just love that. And I think everyone here brought their A game. I think I said this coming out of theater. I think this is the movie where we had, I think, the overall best group performance from every actor. Everyone was phenomenal. Everyone was just brought their A game, and from Kumail to Zoe Kazan and Holly Hunter and Ray Romano, everyone was fantastic in this film.
Yeah, Ray Romano really steals the film at points. He's just so funny. Just the chemistry between all the actors is really impressive, and I love how they really felt like humans. Like they were flawed. They didn't always react the right way to certain things. Like that just made the film feel so much more genuine and thoughtful. Like I really enjoyed that. It didn't feel like I was watching movie characters on the screen. You know?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I love how movies in the past couple years have really embraced the fact that, you know, we don't need to be like, I don't know, people don't need to be like robots on screen. They can just act in a normal fashion like a normal person would. Um, yeah, just everyone was fantastic. This movie really, I mean, I don't know, man, I'm speechless.
The tone balance, I think, is also very impressive.
Yeah.
The comedy, you know, it hits at the right times, but the movie still has time to breathe dramatically, and there's some really powerful and potent moments with the characters that, like I said, are never really overplayed. They just kind of happen naturalistically on screen without much, you know, adhesive style kind of coming at you, which I liked a lot. I mean, my only issue with the movie is I definitely think it's a little shaggy, a little rough around the edges. I think it could have been a little tightly more paced, but I don't even think that's a big issue because for the most part, I really loved everything about the movie and just how it develops from scene to scene. I think it's one of the rare festival movies that really lived up to the hype.
Yeah. I mean, you were more excited for this film than I was, but I mean, you look at the reviews and everything, and it's like, wow, this is not many comedies have this like high of a, or that doesn't have this much critical acclaim. So I mean, it was really all around just a fantastic film, and yeah, I think it's a movie that we really needed.
Yeah, definitely a best of the year contender. Definitely. I could probably guarantee it'll be on my end of the year list.
Yeah. No, yeah, this is definitely memorable, and I saw it a couple weeks ago, and I still remember most of the scenes at least.
Yeah. So do you want to get our ratings?
Yeah. This is close to a 10. I'll give it a 9.5. It's the first time I went up.
What's up?
It's the first time I went up. Usually I was at like an 8.5 or 9 when I got out, but
I'll go 9, solid 9. I'm a really big fan of this movie. I'm really happy it lived up to the hype, and good for Kumail. I love him on Silicon Valley. I hope he, you know, breaks out and continues to do movies. You know.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I mean, his co-star T.J. Miller is busy with the Emoji movie, so.
Yeah, I heard the. Oh wow, yeah.
Emoji movie.
I've heard some shit about that.
Yeah, some real shit. I don't know.
Wow.
Sure. So yeah, that's our little 3-for-1 special.
3 in 1.
Yeah, 3 in 1. Yeah, comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thank you for watching, and see ya.
See you guys.